بالتأكيد عائد مباشر من هذه العلاقة على شعوبنا وعلى تحقيق الاستقرار في المنطقة العربية والأفريقية وتحقيق تطلعات شعوبنا لمستقبل أفضل. تفضل.
شكرا صديقي العزيز. أولا أضم صوتي لصوت الأخ الوزير للاعتذار على طول الانتظار، فنحن استأنفنا مشوار التشاور والتنسيق.
We have resumed the path of negotiations in the same spirit that we have built upon the relationship between Egypt and Algeria in the past.
فترة مطولة نسبيا وإن لم تغطي كافة ما كان نريد.
The negotiations and the discussions did not cover all the aspects that we wanted to, and we anticipate more meetings in the near future between Egypt and Algeria. On the sidelines of the international meetings, to be having more cooperation and coordination between both countries. President of Algeria, Abdelmajid Tebboune, instructed me on this visit of a number of countries, friendly countries and brotherly countries, considering that the bilateral ties and the strategic ties and the other files in the Arab world and African continent, they all need coordination and cooperation between Egypt and Algeria in specific. And I have conveyed a message from the Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be renewing the commitment of furthering the bilateral ties between the two countries. And the Algerians always remember the support that Egypt lent to Algeria in the previous battles for independence. And in the battles for freedom. So I am here today before the world facing different challenges like the coronavirus pandemic. But through those challenges, we are protecting the partnership between Algeria and Egypt, anticipating more meetings between both countries on a summit level. And the other committees of coordination and cooperation between both countries to be having more development in the bilateral ties between Egypt and Algeria for the sake of the peoples of both nations, for the sake of prosperity and development for everyone. So we're ready to answer some of your questions, because the meetings were not concluded, and we as foreign ministers will respect the institutions highlighting the message conveyed from the Algerian presidency to the Egyptian presidency.
وإن كان بطبيعة الحال من السهل أن يفهم الجميع من أن الرسالة هي رسالة حسية.
Although it is easy for everyone to understand that it is a message of prosperity from Algeria to Egypt, a message of cooperation between both countries, we need more shining lights in the paths of development between both countries. Thank you.
شكرا يا فندم. احمد جمعه من صحيفه اليوم السابع. سؤالي
Ahmed Goma, a journalist from
سامح شكري
اليوم السابع.
خريج الجزائر رمضان العمامره.
My questions
تطورات الاوضاع
for both foreign ministers of Egypt and Algeria. What about the latest developments in Libya,
دوله ليبيا ونظرا للتطورات الايجابيه
especially regarding the latest positive developments in Libya of reopening the coastline and the coast road between the east and the west? How do you see the situation in Libya, especially that they have elections at the end of the year on the 24th of December? Thank you very much. Egypt and Algeria pay close attention to Libya, the brotherly and the neighboring country of Libya, as we seek prosperity for the whole region. We were concerned about the pressures and the challenges facing the Libyans. We intend to support the brothers in Libya to find Libyan solutions for the challenges facing the country and facing the people in Libya, protecting the sovereignty of the country. We are optimistic. Following the Libyan national dialogue, especially with the participants of it, they want prosperity and they want good results for the elections on the 24th of December. The Libyan government and the Libyan people support the process of democracy for the sake of security and stability in the country. The brothers in Libya, they also need to deal with the issue of the militias or the mercenaries in the country. So definitely reopening the coast road and having a dialogue and the reconciliation between the Libyan factions is putting Libya on the right path to restoring security and stability and eradicating terrorism. Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Chad, we all need Libya to be stable. And we want the development for the sake of the peoples. We intend to support Libya in the near future, and we pay great attention to the recent developments in the country, especially that we were negatively impacted by what happened in Libya. Especially as we did see parties from outside the region wanted to impact the situation in Libya for their sake through terrorism. Yes, Libya is witnessing progress. In comparison to what they had witnessed in the past. The Libyan people are having a revolution of hearts, a revolution of minds for the sake of their country. It is evident that the neighboring countries like Algeria and Egypt, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to be restoring security and stability to Libya. What happened yesterday of reopening the coast road was a symbol to unity. The current government in Libya is recognized by everyone. In Libya, a number of steps will be taken before the end of the year, before the 24th of December, to be creating a conducive atmosphere for democracy and to be restoring sovereignty to Libya. And consequently, security will be restored to the North African country. That is the positive outcome that we did see yesterday, but there are challenges, there are problems that could be solved through persistence and patience and support for the legitimacy in Libya. In order to be having a successful experience in Libya for the sake of the people, in coordination between us, between the neighboring countries, the other neighboring countries, in coordination with the other partners who have interest in the Libyan situation. We have a responsibility towards the Libyan people, but to our peoples as well, to our nations as well. So we are supporting the positive outcomes, the positive recent developments that took place in Libya. And we are encouraged to think that Libya is on the right path. Mohammed Hamida, a journalist for the Russian news agency. After your visit to Tunisia, how do you see the latest developments in Tunisia? And for Foreign Minister Sameh Shokry, how do you see the latest developments in Tunisia? What is happening in Tunisia is an internal affair. We support Tunisia and its people. And we are holding discussions and contacts with its leadership. The Tunisian institutions will make a good choice for the sake of the people of the country, and we support that. We find ourselves in the same path of Tunisia. Definitely, we pay close attention to the latest developments in Tunisia. The main goal is the security, the stability of Tunisia. We trust in the wisdom of the political leadership in Tunisia. For the sake of the Tunisian people, we have trust in the choices that will be made by the Tunisian leadership for the sake of the people. We fully respect the non-interference in the Tunisian internal affairs, in the hope that the will of the Tunisian people will be implemented. To the Algerian Foreign Minister, before reaching Cairo, you have visited Ethiopia and Tunisia. You have met with the African Union officials regarding the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. How does Algeria see a way out of this situation? And regarding Sudan, how did you see the stance of Sudan towards the Renaissance Dam? Algeria thinks that the ties between the Nile Basin countries, Ethiopia, Sudan and Egypt, are facing a very tight challenge. So Algeria is paying close attention to the details in those ties between the three countries. And we think that those brotherly countries should reach an agreement to be preserving the rights of every country. In a transparent manner. Negotiations should be held in a transparent manner. for the sake of the three countries and to preserve the water rights of each country and to preserve the right of development for each country. So we pay close attention to this file. Algeria always has the same position. Not to be undermining the strategic relationship between Algeria and the Arab and African countries. We intend to protect and keep a special relationship between Algeria and the three countries. I was briefed on the details of the Renaissance Town file from my counterparts from Sudan and Ethiopia. And I was promised that negotiations and discussions would continue regarding this file. Algeria wants to be a part of the solution, even by preparing an atmosphere to be conducting negotiations and discussions to reach an agreement. So we'll listen and we understand. And then we inform the political leadership in Algeria of the latest developments of the negotiations and the discussions. The Renaissance Town file is an international issue. Is being looked at even at the United Nations. So we need to have a full idea about the situation to be giving out ideas for a solution. Lamia Moafi, News Sector, the Egyptian Radio and Television Union. Foreign Minister Samah Shokry, you've had contacts with the French Foreign Minister about Lebanon. How do you see the latest developments in Lebanon now? The situation in Lebanon is of an internal aspect. Egypt has a very close relationship with the Lebanese leadership. We need to get out of the current crisis or dispute. We hope that the political leadership in Lebanon could be delivering on the promises for the Lebanese people, especially in those economic hardships. They need to form a government in Lebanon to interact with the international institutions and to care for the Lebanese people and to get it out of the political and the economic hardships. We cannot forget about what happened in August of last year of the Beirut port explosion. So we hope after the formation of a new cabinet or a new government, we need this step to be taken quickly in consensus with the political factions in Lebanon for the sake of the Lebanese people. But we will continue to support in any way possible the process in Lebanon to reach this result, seeking more development and prosperity for the Lebanese people who deserve a brighter future. You know that Algeria was part of the Arab League's preparations, was part of the Arab League's preparations to reach an agreement of reconciliation between the brothers. We are looking at the political and the humanitarian situation in Lebanon. As the situation in Lebanon is comprising different factions and different religions and different sects. So it's a good example of living together, of coexistence. We even need to find a solution for the Palestinian cause and modeling the solution on the experience in Lebanon. In the past in Lebanon, the sects had fought fiercely, but now they choose to be living side by side and coexisting peacefully. So the current phase we need a legitimate cabinet, a government in Lebanon to be capable of attaining development in Lebanon and facing the challenges and hardships, and there is a lot of challenges in Lebanon now. Lebanon is important. It is a part of the history and it's a part of the future. Thank you very much, and we will continue discussions on issues of mutual concern. Thank you very much once again. Welcome back. You're still watching Nile TV International, and that was the live coverage of the meetings or the press conference of Foreign Minister Sameh Shokry and his counterpart from